So we're going to talk. I'm going to always give a few minutes for anybody going in, but we're going to be talking about Mendel and his pea plants. So what have you been doing fun? What's something fun you've been doing?
Watching TV.
Gotcha. Not playing any games?
Not many.
Not many. I thought you liked PUBG or what's the other one?
Fortnite.
Yeah, Fortnite. I never can remember that.
Yeah, I don't really play much Fortnite anymore.
Gotcha.
Got a little bit bored of it.
Yeah, I just want to get $1 billion contract like Ninja did. That's crazy. But
He got $100 million to switch from Twitch to Mixer.
did he?
Yeah.
Somebody supposedly signed him on a 10-year contract for $1 billion. $10 million a year, every year. Yeah. That's pretty good from playing games, don't you think?
Yep. $1 billion.
So you'll be getting packet in the mail, have an info sheet like this. It'll have a question sheet like this. We'll be working on that. Then Thursday we'll do this. And next Tuesday we'll do this. And then next Thursday I got a whole little packet. It's all coming your way, okay?
All right.
So I'm going to show a quick video. Hold on a second.
Shall we begin? Man, look at this world. These days, scientists know how you inherit characteristics from your parents. They're able to calculate probabilities of having a specific trait or getting a genetic disease according to the information they have from the parent and the family history. But how is this possible? To understand how traits pass from one living being to its descendants, we need to go back in time to the 19th century and a man named Gregor Mendel. Mendel was an Austrian monk and biologist who loved to work with plants. By breeding the pea plants he was growing in the monastery's garden, he discovered the principles that rule heredity. In one of the most classic examples, Mendel combined a purebred yellow-seeded plant with a purebred green-seeded plant, and he got only yellow seeds. He called the yellow color trait the dominant one because it was expressed in all the new seeds. Then he let the new yellow-seeded hybrid plant self-fertilize, and in this second generation he got both yellow and green seeds, which meant that the green trait had been hidden by the dominant yellow. He called this hidden trait the recessive trait. From those results, Mendel inferred that each trait depends on a pair of factors, one of them coming from the mother and the other from the father. Now we know that these factors are called alleles and represent the different variations of the gene. Depending on which type of allele Mendel found in each seed, we can have what we call a homozygous seed, where both alleles are identical, and what we call a heterozygous seed, when the two alleles are different. This combination of alleles is known as genotype, and its result, being yellow or green, is called phenotype. To clearly visualize how alleles are distributed amongst descendants, we can use a diagram called the Punnett square. You just place the different alleles on both axes, and then you figure out the possible combinations. Let's look at Mendel's peas, for example. Let's write the dominant yellow allele as an uppercase Y, and the recessive green allele as a lowercase y. The uppercase Y always overpowers its lowercase friend, so the only time you get green babies is if you have two lowercase y's. In Mendel's first generation, the yellow homozygous pea mom will give each pea kid a yellow dominant allele, and the green homozygous pea dad will give a green recessive allele. So all the pea kids are yellow heterozygous. generation, where the two heterozygous kids marry, their babies could have any of the three possible genotypes, showing the two possible phenotypes in a 3-to-1 proportion. But even peas have a lot of characteristics. For example, besides being yellow or green, peas may be round or wrinkled. So we could have all these possible combinations: round yellow peas, round green peas, wrinkled yellow peas, and wrinkled green peas. To calculate the proportions for each genotype and phenotype, we can use a Punnett square too. Of course, this will make it a little more complex. And lots of things are more complicated than peas, like, say, people. These days, scientists know a lot more about genetics and heredity, and there are many other ways in which some characteristics are inherited, but it all started with Mendel and his peas.
You care if I read some of this to you real quick?
No, man.
Since you don't have it, I'll just read it, get that for you. So Gregor Johann Mendel was born on July 20th, 1822 in the Austrian Empire, Czech Republic now. He was an Augustinian friar of the Catholic Church and a scientist. He eventually became the abbot of that monastery. It was called St. Thomas Abbey. And that caused the scientific work to decrease because he had so many jobs he had and responsibilities. What's the plant he's known for?
Pea plant?
The pea plant, yes. And subsequent theories on genetics during a 7-year period. Mendel experimented with pea plants in the garden owned in his monastery. He also worked with bees. A lot of people don't know that he worked with plants and with bees to determine genetic traits in animals. But nothing was really widely recognized of his work, which is sad and happens so often throughout history. Till after his death in 1880. But there were several things that were major factors that influenced his work, such as society, his interest in science, previous work by other scientists. What do you think he was looking at the other works of scientists when he started to recognize that there were differences in the pea plants?
What'd you say?
What do you think? He said one of the major factors that influenced him was the fact of other scientists' previous work. What do you think maybe some of that work was that he became so interested in?
Probably cells, or just like stuff you can't really see with the naked human eye.
Yeah, they hadn't got into the cell aspect of it, and he knew he was doing basically DNA breeding before he ever had a microscope to look into the cells. See, he conducted experiments on around 29,000 plants, which is crazy. Because he was only 62. He didn't live a long life. Why do you think he picked the pea plant? Let me rephrase the question. So he saw changes in the pea plant that were planted around the monastery. That's what sparked his ideas about traits. All right. So why is it that you think the pea plant was an ideal choice for him? That's better.
I guess maybe they show differences faster.
Yeah, they should. Well, close. Yeah, very good, very good. They had very observable traits. Other words, they're green, they're yellow, or maybe they're polka dotted or they're striped. They had very easily observable traits, and there were 7 different traits that he could manipulate. Now, there's 2 things he did for his experiments on peas. He had 2 conditions. All right. First condition is it must possess constant differentiating characteristics. What does that mean? What does that mean? What does that mean?
Different confi
Differentiating. So I differentiate instruction based on who I'm giving instruction to. Does that make sense?
repeat the question.
Sure. It says they must possess differentiating characteristics, and I said, what do you think that means?
Different characteristics, or
It's okay. You've got it. It's a play on words. It's the characteristics that make all of them different. It's just a way of differentiating characteristics. It's the characteristics that set each one apart. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Kind of like, what's the differentiating characteristics of these two markers?
Color.
Yep. Good job. Excellent, man. I miss you in class. The second condition he had for his experiments was that if you had a hybrid plant, right? Now a hybrid's just a mix of two kinds, right? So maybe he had a green and a yellow, or maybe he had a striped and a spotted. During the flowering period, they have to be protected from foreign pollen. What's foreign pollen?
Pollen from like different lands and stuff.
Well,
or like different places.
Yep, and it could be as far away as 10 feet. It could be much further, but I'm trying to get you the understanding. So maybe he had to grow yellow peas on an acre behind the monastery, but he had to grow the purple pea plants on an acre in the front of the monastery so that the pollen wouldn't mix. And I don't know that that's far enough away to do that. That's tough to not have pollen mix like that. But that's what he did. As we were talking about this, did any questions come up that you're thinking about?
No.
All right, cool. So he acquired 34 different kinds of pea plant, and he used 22. And I'm not going to get into, I'm going to do a cutoff there. For Thursday, we're going to be working on, you should have all this with you before Thursday. You understand the Punnett square pretty well?
Yeah, kind of.
It goes past 4. Let me see if I can do this. Hold on one sec. I've been trying to play with this. Chat security, share screen. There it is. Okay, so you can see this. Whoa, you can't draw a straight. Look at that straight line. What do you think? Pure talent, huh?
You can call it that.
Yeah, look at that. Got the correct wave. It looks, that's awesome. I am so proud. All right, so let's say we have a P for purple, a Y for yellow, nope, a Y for yield, P for purple, little p for pink, a little y for small yield, the color, the yield, and stripe, and spot. We're going to have anything that is going to be recessive in this
one. P.
Well, little p, little y, and little s are recessive, right?
Yeah.
Big P, big Y, and big S are dominant. So what goes in this box right here?
Uppercase P, lowercase p.
Yep. Big P. So is it going to be, since there's a dominant gene, going to rule out the recessive, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, what goes in this box?
Capital P, lowercase y.
And I tried to make these as crooked as possible just to have a little fun. Now it's a pain. All right, so we have a dominant P and a recessive Y. So which trait's going to show up?
P.
P. Yeah. Again, over here we have P and the little s. Same thing. You know, you see how this is going to go, right?
Yeah.
Excellent. Excellent. Well, any questions?
No.
All righty. I think we're going to stop there, and Thursday we'll get into his law of segregation, segregating plants out, and go from there. Is it you should have your packet by tomorrow. There's not much I can do with the slowness of the bell, but
All right.
that'll help you out there. And that's all. Any questions?
No.
All right, buddy. If you get a chance, I'd love to see your world history.
All right.
Bye, buddy.